Exactly.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. With Ryan Zolik, myself. Greg will be coming on here as soon as he gets out of the field. But we'd like to welcome Lori Schultz from the UW Cougars. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've recovered from our radiothon, so I'm all rested.
Other than your voice, you probably talk so much. And
yeah, my voice is it sounds like I have a bar voice, but it could be.
How many days does that go on the radio up there?
That goes on for 3 days. We do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we're on air for 12 hours each day. But I'm there a couple hours before in the morning and then about a half an hour after each night. So,
wow, that's quite the crew helping you out, though, too.
Yes, I couldn't do it without Colleen. She helps me. She's my money counter. She makes sure that when guests arrive, such as yourself, that you guys behave yourselves and have a seat. And
hey?
Yeah, you.
I was still behaved.
Oh, I know. I know. But
radio.
What's that?
I can't believe they let me on radio.
I know. Well, you have a good face for it, so that's good.
Yeah, beautiful face for radio. Only one a mother could love.
Yeah, look how cute we are.
That was a good time. I'm so glad and honored that you let me come and help you do that. And that was fun. I hope it gains some traction to some of the people, and hopefully we get some more people in the stands the 7th of June because of it.
Yeah, I hope so. It was great that we could, we advertised that a little bit, and we got on the Zone, which is an extra radio station that we were able to do with the sports one. So I am really hoping that, we get some more people in the stands.
Yeah, Magic 98, Q106, WJJO. So we hit all the genres, I think.
I think we did, for sure. But you did a great job on air, John. You hit all the highlights. You shared the connection and why it's important to you guys to do what you do for us. And so I greatly appreciate that. And I think it's just important for the listeners to know that we do have community partners out there who've been doing this a while and why it's meaningful to do it.
Yes. And so many people that, just like I said, just in the Badger State family that's been touched by UW Hospital and their children that have been there. And, just think of the families just from our group that have been there, let alone think all the members that probably have somebody that they know, one of their family members that's been there.
Right. We've often said that there's, not there's every single person has somebody that we talk to that knows somebody who's utilized it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I said it too on a couple of stations that not every story's, not every story goes well, and but there's a lot of stories that do, and that makes up for it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I try to balance that because, I think it's good to tell the good, but we also need to share that not everything always turns out the way you want it to, but the care is still there and the care is important. And I think it's important to highlight how we wrap around those families, even when it's a sad outcome.
I was listening while I was waiting there with Colleen, and listening to that family there that was leaving just before you grabbed me, and their little daughter, and she was born premature. So touching to hear their story, but how grateful that they are that things are turning out well for them, and that was good to see.
Yeah, that's a fun story for me. Actually met them. Their daughter was 9 months old in the ICU. And so for me to see her being 3 years old now and starting to walk, it's pretty amazing. So that one is really one that's really touches my heart a lot.
What was another one of them that come through there that you're close to?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say probably almost all of them.
Oh, all of them?
I Yeah, because I actually talk to all the families before they come on the radio. So I do a pre-interview with each family so that I know their story when they're coming into the radio stations. Um, and it's very interesting to me that once I've heard their story and I see them in person in the studios, it's like I've known them my whole life. It's so amazing, John, how that connection, I don't know, we managed to make that connection immediately when I'm talking with them. And I don't know how or why that happens, but every year it really, really does. But I I can't say that I have a favorite, and I can't say that there's one that I'm more connected to than another. But for sure, the family that was on before you is one that I have told them that I will be following them for a very, very long time. The last family that we had on Friday is probably another one that I would say is very close to me. Um, their daughter had leukemia, a very similar story to mine, but yet still different. But they've had a great outcome. Their daughter's doing so well, and they're kind of on my summer circuit. They're doing all kinds of events for me this year. So very
That's
grateful for them for being willing to share their story.
and that's the other thing too. Families that have come through, and families you've brought to the Badger State banquet, where we've had a mix of joyous times, seeing the whole timeline, and then there's some that, like you said, it's not the outcome that they wanted, but the care that they got was spectacular.
Exactly. And that's really for our radiothon, that's what we want to highlight. We want to highlight the care and the comfort that we provide as a hospital and staff. And that's what we can't do without events like the radiothon and especially your charity pull. We can't do what we do without help from the community.
And all that goes a long ways. What does some of the money that we raise, what's that go to when it gets to UW?
So a lot of the money goes to help out our child life department because that is completely philanthropy funded. So without fundraisers, we would not be able to have 17 child life specialists who help our patients with distractions, helps them during procedures to feel comfortable and calm. They do educational classes and sessions with them to teach them about their condition or about the procedures they're going to have done. We have therapy dogs. We wouldn't be able to have those because they're not cheap to have them around. We have a positive image center where kids can go and get their hair done, get their nails done. They can get wigs, hats, caps, hair accessories. and it's all free of charge. We figured that if a child wanted to get a real hair wig, it's thousands of dollars to get just one of those. And so it's really important for us to look to the community to help with that. Family meals are provided for the families. That's about $300 each time that there's a family meal provided. We stock the kitchenettes with food for families. So if they need to grab something quick on the go, or if they miss the family meal, there's food in the refrigerators on each unit that they can grab. Gas cards. A lot of our families are traveling. We had families that came just for the radiothon. They lived 4 hours away, 2.5 hours away. And I always try to combine it with an appointment that they might have. But, right away I said, do you have a clinic appointment during these times or a checkup that you might be having? And they said, no, we don't have anything going on, but we're happy to make the drive in just for this. So to me, that really tells the story that they can't wait to share their experience and how wonderful it was.
That's great. Great. Yeah. And there's there's still friends of mine there at the hospital. I can't mention names and
Right.
whatnot, but still getting cared for. And when I contacted you and you contacted them, he got a hold of me right away.
Did he really?
Yes. And he was very teary-eyed on the phone. But it meant so much to him that you sought him out and went out of your way. And to find out that we connected, through that. And thank you very much.
Of course. And, John, that's what I do. And that's also part of my job is when people know there's someone there and they just need a hug or, we do cards for food, gift certificates, gift cards. It's not much. We might think it's not much, but, that particular family, I know the way their faces lit up, it was like, oh my gosh, we don't have to have a cafeteria meal. We can order out one night. And, we do also provide meals for families like that. So it's my pleasure to do that for people that have someone that they know in the hospital and to stop by and even just to say, hey, just, I'm friends with your friend and they told me you were here. And I just want you to know that if there's anything you need, I'm here. Because sometimes too, it's really hard to navigate the hospital. And I'd like people to know too, that I'd be happy to help them if they need help navigating.
That's a big place. And even not just the children's hospital, but UW hospital in general. And I've gotten to know too well. I can tell you where you need to. But the care from either hospital, even there with my family has been just great. So I'm very happy to help out with this with you guys and help with the poll. And so if you want me on next year, sign me up for the Radiothon for Friday again.
Absolutely. I'm going to put you down. I'm going to make a note of that because even though I don't want to think about the Radiothon next year right now, I've already started and I have 2 families already on my list. So I will add you to my list for sure. You're not getting away.
Not away. That was cool. That is an awesome place. It's just amazing. That whole radio station, the studios, and, all the memorabilia there. And that is just an awesome place.
Yeah, the owner is quite a collector. He is the one who collects all of that. And he really likes to show it off. So when I went to them and said, hey, with COVID, we have no idea if we'll ever be able to move this radiothon back to the hospital. Can we just have it here all the time, every year, have it here? And he was over the moon excited to show off his building because he really considers it a music museum, which it is, with all the guitars and the records and photos that are signed and drum cases, drum fronts that he's got. And so they're happy to show that off. And I know we have families that just wander the halls while they're waiting, looking at everything and taking pictures, of course, by Taylor Swift's guitar and her pictures. But no, we're really lucky that we have, it's, one of the last businesses, broadcasting businesses that have live people in all of their studios. Yeah, there you go. That's just some of it. That's when you come into the lobby.
Yep.
All
I
of the
took
walls are covered.
Yeah, covered like that. They're all autographed, and it's just amazing. It was cool. I think that's more efficient for you being there because you just walk down the hall, go in the next one, walk down the hall, go in the next one. You just keep making circles.
Yeah, you do. And the nice thing about being there versus the hospital is that I get all of the radio stations. When we were at the hospital, we only had two. And so this makes everyone at Midwest Family Broadcasting really feel a part of it, which I love. Plus, I can just pop in, and I know you saw me do that a couple times. I just poke my head in and say, do you have time for an interview? If not, we'll move on and we'll go to the next one, or we'll come back or whatever. But it's really nice that I can just do it that way. And then, yeah, I just keep circling up and down the steps and circling around.
Yeah, you must hit a million steps.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I had a hard time walking on Saturday, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, and when you pop in and they come in and who do you got and you explain and then that was so much fun. It was just like it was set up, ready to go. We just fell right into the groove.
Yeah, I try to make it look easy. By the time Radiothon gets there, that's the whole point is once those days come, I try to make it easy for people who are coming on to be interviewed, such as yourself, as well as the radio personalities. I want to make it as easy for them. I put together these binders that have a summary for each interview that comes in. And that way, when you came in, they had a little summary, so they knew a little bit about what you were about. And that helps them, so it's not a cold interview, too.
Cool part, too, is this year, if things go well, this will push us over the $1 million mark with Badger State tractor pullers.
Absolutely. I can't wait to celebrate that. I think that'll be absolutely amazing.
In December, that's going to be fun because I know, the way things have been trending and how people have been giving and how things have been going. I hope we have a big year this year and it puts us right over the edge of that $1 million mark. Grand total for 12 years of doing this.
I have no doubt that we will be way over that. No doubt.
So the poll, as long as the good Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, will be the 7th of June at 6 o'clock. All of our classes will be there. 10,000 pound pro stock, 640 pro farm, 9,500 limited pro, 9,500 466 hot farm, super farms, light pro stock, light limited super stock, 3.6 pro stock diesel trucks, and super modified two-wheel drives. The 7th at 6 o'clock. So you can get there early if you want to get a good seat. I'm pretty sure the pickled pork producers will be cooking again. It'll be a big time. A lot of great sponsors that help us out with Middleton Machining and Lemke, Ritchie's, Kwame Insurance, Hennessy Implement, Nutrien, a whole list of them that help us out for that poll. And all the pullers that come and support. So everybody from Badger State comes. It is a points poll, so everybody comes and pulls for the points, but also pulls for the kids at UW. Are you going to have one of the families there?
Yes. Now that Radiothon is done, I need to get working on your family to come. So, yes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be good. That'll be good to see. So, when we're there, we'll do a Calcutta auction like we usually do on one of the classes. Last few years have been the pro stock class. And I think last year we raised $60,000 alone on the Calcutta auction in the pro stock class. That
is crazy.
Unbelievable.
It is.
I didn't hear the final count for last year's money, but the year before was $160,000 total. So it's just been growing. We have the paddles. Is it $10 and $20 paddles?
Yep.
That we do.
Yep.
So we sell paddles for each class, and those of you that come, if you buy a $20 paddle and you have number 2 on your paddle, that is the second puller in the class. And if that puller wins, you win half the money. So if there's 10 people, then there's $200 in there. You win $100, and $100 goes to UW. And a lot of times people donate it all back.
They
It's
sure
sweet.
do. It's
Yep.
it's amazing how generous people can be. Even in these times, I'm still always surprised, John, at how generous people are.
That event especially, and even a couple of years ago we had rain, and then
Yeah.
they worked the track and got it done, and the people just kept pouring in. It
Yeah.
was a little slower than before, but they just
Yeah.
kept pouring in until it was almost packed.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I just couldn't. Every year you guys do something that just amazes me. So,
Always. And then the
and
banquet comes,
what's that?
and then the banquet comes.
Oh, then I cry. So,
Roderick is Sherrick. Hi, Lisa, but it's Lori, but she makes a good Lisa. Nurses are
Good.
great. I had friends, kids there. I meet some there as I work at UW Hospital side. So Roger works there.
All
Roger
right.
pulls a Alice Chalmers antique tractor.
Oh, very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. She's over by the Richland Center area. So
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for what you do.
if anybody has questions for Lori or for us, please throw them up. We'd be happy to answer, even if they're very highly technical.
Yeah.
Ryan's got a question. He's live now.
I see that.
Well, I was gonna say I happened to be listening to Magic 98 on Saturday afternoon, and I caught one of the families. I don't remember the family that was talking. They were talking about their son and everything that he was going through. And I will have to say, it's tough to drive and listen at the same time because it was an emotional story about their son. He was a senior in high school.
Oh,
And yeah, I just happened to turn it on and caught that story. But yeah, it's tough to listen to that and try to focus on the road at the same time.
yeah, that was a very sad story. So I can only imagine. The cool part of that story, though, Ryan, is that they actually did his graduation in the lobby of the Children's Hospital before he
Yeah, no, that was
passed
a really cool part of that
Really?
story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. He wanted to graduate before he passed. And so they brought it to him in the hospital and they did it in the lobby. I actually got to be there for that. That was so cool. Yeah.
Amazing.
It gives me goosebumps when I talk about it because that was a very special event. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost had to pull over. I did. Like it was really touching, and for them to talk about, willing to talk about that on the air.
Yeah. And they come every year. I've given mom permission to not, and she said absolutely not. I will be here every year. Whether you tell me to come or not, I'm coming. So I just put her on the schedule. Yeah. This year I did have to excuse myself out of the studios. I said to her, I love you dearly, and I will give you great big hugs before and after, but I cannot stay in studio when you tell your story this year. So yeah.
It's hard, especially when you get those relationships with them, it's hard,
Yeah.
but just as your story, like you said, okay, you can talk about it. I love to talk about it. I do too. The story with my wife, and
Yeah.
if we talk about her, it's great. Bring her memories up.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Christina's the reason I do this job. So I probably wouldn't do this job if I didn't have a daughter who was treated at the Children's Hospital. So
Direct.
yeah. I think it helps. I think it helps to have that experience, really.
It does. Yeah, I think you're right. I believe you're right. And you're the perfect person for that job. Even Colleen said that.
She did.
She said, I don't know how, she says, I don't know how you're going to talk on radio. I said, well, there's probably only a couple people in the studio. And on an average night, there's at least 2,500, 3,000 people or more when I'm talking. So this would be nothing for me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I love what I do. I really do. And the radiothon is a tough week for me, but yet, I take a couple days and I emotionally recover and then I just get right back at it. So,
I was amazed when we come back down and Clean told us that while we were on, someone donated $5,000.
yeah.
That was amazing during the
Yeah.
times that we're.
It was interesting because I had the DJ, it was Fish, and he said he pulled me aside before he made the ask on air, and he said, "Do I or don't I?" And I said, "You can't get it if you don't ask." So,
Very true.
yeah.
Josh Dutton says proud to be a part of this, and I know a lot of the pullers like Josh feel the same way.
Well, I am so proud to be a part of what you guys do. And I know it benefits our hospital, but John, you guys have all welcomed me with open arms from the very first pull. And I greatly appreciate that. I have so much fun with you guys. I really do. And I'm not just blowing smoke. You guys really are my favorites.
Yes. Yep. Proven.
Yep, it is proven.
But also for those watching too, so we're going to get going here once the first poll comes. Our raffle tickets. So again, we'll have raffle tickets out. Jack Spots is putting that all together, and Jack Spots is hooking me up this year. I'm going to have my own stash of raffle tickets. I sold like 4 books last year, and I'm going to be the top seller this year. We're gearing up. Jack and I talked, and every poll that I'm at announcing, I'll have a bag with me. If you want to buy tickets or you know somebody needs tickets, you come up to the announcer stand and I will set you up. So I will have tickets with me all summer long until they're sold. So I'm hoping we get them sold out before we even get them in row.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
I'm hoping that we crank them right out. Yeah. Dirk Jury. I was very fortunate to be on one of the first Badger State Tractor Pullers people to meet Lori. Well, you met Dirk and you still stuck around. That's all right.
Well, that actually was before I had this job, so
okay.
I was just being polite.
I gotta pick on Dirk. He picks on me.
I know, me too. Me too. I love them.
I didn't pick on him.
I know, exactly. Exactly. It was a pleasure to be the first to meet. So
yeah, years ago we donated to another organization, and then it got to be, where we want to donate more local, from what I understand, and actually going to split that year. And the other organization said, "Well, we don't do that or whatever," and it worked out for you guys. So we've been donating for, like I said, last 12 years to UW. So it's local, close to home with Badger State.
And I don't think they would come to your event or your banquet, to be honest with you.
They probably wouldn't have as much fun either.
No, but think about that organization. I don't think they'd come.
I don't think they would either. No.
So there you have it.
There it is. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Lori? And please ask. But so we got the raffles. We have the raffles at the poll, raffle tickets.
Yeah.
Starts at 6:00. So if you want some good seats, get there early. It's open in the afternoon at some point in time. So if you want to get there, get a good parking spot, get a good seat.
Yeah.
It's in Baraboo at the Sauk County Fairgrounds, June 7th at 6 sharp. So
yeah, that's been a good move since they moved it from Sauk for the event to get to a bigger facility.
Bigger facility, and we can run 2 tracks side by side, and that's the only pull of the year you can watch all the Badger State classes in one show. So
it's been good there for sure.
Weather's been pretty decent, other than the one time it rained a little bit there, but they got the track worked up, and I think it was actually better after it rained.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think it was. I just think that there's the track was so much better after that added moisture in there, and we bladed it off, and we went at it. So Yes.
Lord,
So
Lord, did I hear right that it was just over $490,000 raised over the weekend?
Yes. Yep. Yep. It was just shy of 494,000.
wow, that's for the 3 day.
Yes. Yep. That was our 3 day total.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. It really was. Every year I'm amazed. I really am. I said to Colleen, let's just get to 300,000. If we just get to 300,000, I will be tickled. And she's like, I think you'll be all right. She never tells me where I am, but I always just say, are we doing okay? And she's like, I think you'll be all right. So
There's a table in there. I don't know if you got the pictures from all that. There's a table with all the goodies that families can grab when they go through. And it was cool to see the toy tractor sitting on there.
yes, yes. Who did I say that was from? Brian Schmidt?
Brian
Mike
Schmidt.
Schmidt?
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, so thank you to him for that. Those were amazing to have, and they were gone
Were they?
at the end of the day on Friday. Yeah, yeah, the kids loved that, and so yeah, we like to have giveaways for the kids. We make it a party when they come in. Well, you saw the little party room, and so we have tables full of giveaways. We give parents like a grocery bag, a reusable grocery bag, and we're like, fill it up. So that's what we do.
I know one of our great sponsors, Matt Castor and Front Street Toys, has donated before. And I think he's stockpiling in the background from what I understand too. So when
I have to get over to the hospital and see where we're at. I haven't been over there for a while, so I need to get over there.
Yeah. So when you see where you're at, if you need, let us know. And I'm sure if he doesn't have, I'm sure a bunch of us can put some stuff together. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I was a little busy with that little thing that you were at the radiothon, but
yeah,
now I can think ahead to the next thing.
yeah, that's right. And also, Badger State Tractor Pullers has their own room there at UW Children's Hospital.
Yes, you guys did name a room, so that is pretty amazing. We appreciate that. Well, there you go.
There's some of the toys.
Yeah.
Yep. They're gone. Toast.
Yep. They were a huge hit.
Yeah. I showed Colleen a couple of videos because she never really seen anything like that, and I showed her a couple of videos of a couple of tractors with pulling Badger State, and she was amazed. She couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I know. I keep telling her she needs to come over and see it, so hopefully she will this year.
There's a couple events that are close. Come on over.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'm really hoping that we get some people who are listening to the radiothon come over and check it out. And I know some of the DJs were really curious about it, so maybe we'll get some of them too.
Yeah, they did seem pretty curious to see what was going on. Some of them brought up the Facebook and were looking while we were talking.
Right.
See what
it's
about.
I do love when they do their homework. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, you could tell that a couple of them there were right on, spot on. Well, I think all of them did.
They did. All of them had checked it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
It was great to have you, John. It was so much fun to have you there.
It was a lot of fun. That was cool. I didn't know what to think or what it was going to be like. I had no idea. And, yeah, that was just amazing. And the setup that they have in the studio and how it works, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool to see.
It's just a conversation. You just walk in, sit down.
Yeah. The neat part about it too is going from radio station to radio station is the different vibes you get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go from Magic 8 to Q106, then Q106 to the Zone, and then we went to JJO.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, it's very different. But there was one common theme. Did you pick up on what that common theme was in all the studios?
Family?
Well, but picking on me.
Yeah, they all loved you.
I don't know if it's love. I don't know.
It's definitely love.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They love Lori.
No.
Craig Ladwig, this pull is the only event I will never miss.
That's awesome.
Craig knows firsthand too, is he had his son that had cancer and fought and won.
That's awesome. That's
just
awesome.
Like I said, many people in our pulling organization that have been touched, you know, by such great treatment and treatment like UW gives. So
absolutely,
we're blessed,
well,
all of us.
You know, we always say you hope you never need it, but if you do, you're glad it's there.
Glad it's there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need everybody's help to keep it going for, you know, those extras. That's what we talk about at the Radiothon. The Radiothon is not for the walls, it's not for the paint, it's for the extras that go on to make the comfort that help the care that goes on.
And for children and even parents, it's very, you know, and the unknowns, and even like the small experience that we had when Ross was there for his tonsils out, and not to, you know what to expect, but that care team you're talking about, when we took Ross in the surgery and how they all handled that, and that nurse and the parent are the lead of the whole thing in the beginning of it, and keep the child comfortable and focused on them. And then they go about their business quietly in the background, and then all of a sudden parents exit stage left and they're busy taking care of the child.
Exactly. Yeah.
That whole transition and how they do that. And, you know, my son was at ease. You know, he just thought we were going to take a nap and he was getting sleepy.
Right.
And we laid down and took a nap and it was all over. So,
you know, and one of the coolest things in that pre and post-op areas, we actually do have a playroom in there that Child Life uses to explain and teach to the kids that come in for surgery what's going to happen when they go into the operating room. And to me, that is so incredible that we wouldn't have without donations. And, you know, it's got a little mock-up of what the machine's going to look like, and it's Legos. Somebody put together this mock machine of Legos. It's absolutely amazing.
That whole thing is amazing. And yeah, he was playing and was comfortable, and they come in and talked and explained. A couple of different people come in, and then afterwards too. Yeah. And then on the floor, you know, they got big wheels and go cruise the hall.
Exactly. Yeah, we always talk about the fun that we have at the hospital. And, you know, some people look at you like, what? It's like, no, we want the kids to be kids. So we make it fun here.
Yeah, big wheels. There was what the heck was the other thing that was there? Small bikes, and then they had scooters. There's all kinds of stuff rolling around in there.
Yep, lots of wagons.
Lots of wagons. Yeah, lots of wagons. Can anybody come and take a tour of the Children's Hospital?
They have to do it through one of us who are there with development. So if there's somebody through Badger State Tractor Pullers that would like to do a tour, they certainly can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to set something up.
Awesome.
For sure. Yeah. We like to do it for our groups that do something for us, and like you guys who are one of our fundraisers, I like to make sure that they get, if they would like to come through, get a chance to do that. So by all means, you know, I'm happy to do that.
That'd be great. So the 7th, any of the Badger Pullers want to chat with Lori, that would be the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure to wear my red scrub so they can find me.
There you go. I'm going to wear mine too. So I got a couple scrubs. So yeah, Ross one, so we'll doll him up with one too. So
awesome.
We'll be rubbing around that night.
That sounds good. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. So truck and tractor pulling kicking off. Is there some pulls that have already started? One of the Badger State Tractor Puller 2-wheel drives, hot and nasty Terry Timmerman, went out to Kentucky to the Hansel Sullivan Memorial Pull and won the 2-wheel drive class out there last weekend. So very proud of the Timmermans as they rocked the house last year and are picking up right where they left off this year. So we'll be excited to see them at the UW Children's Hospital benefit pull as well.
That'll be cool.
And this coming weekend, Ryan, you want to give a little synopsis of the championship pull, the Pullers Championship?
Sure. Yeah, this Friday and Saturday night down in Nashville, Illinois, will be the Pullers Championship. I believe they have 8 classes they're pulling, so this is an invite only event. These pullers had to finish in the top of their class and then be invited to come. And they just recently added, I believe, some diesel super stocks to show up down there for the first time. They were not going to be there, and then they decided to add them back. So, but there'll be the live stream is available through the website, pullerschampionship.com. I just recently, they just added, you can ride in a monster truck if you're going to be down that way as well. So you can bring the family, do that during the day. But we have several Badger State pullers making the trek down there in our 4-1 class, Super Farm, Pro Stock, that got invited down. Don't remember if any of our two-wheel drive truck guys took the invite or not. I don't have the class list in front of me right now. But the pullerschampionship.com has all the event info right there.
And that's this weekend, Nashville, Illinois. What time does it start both nights?
6 o'clock both nights. I should double check that. So, but maybe 7. I should know, but I don't.
Mr. Oz has spoke.
I know. I'm just going off the top of my head here, so just throwing out.
Ryan,
Just make it up, Ryan. It's fine.
Yeah.
Get there early.
Again, I'll just go to the website, right?
Get there early. So this weekend, and then a couple weeks after that, Badger State kicks off for the FFA poll in Prairie du Sac. So I think that's what, the 30th or 31st?
31st.
31st. So
Yeah, if you're local, you can go to out to Muscadet, and they have the Morel Mushroom Festival going on this weekend down in Muscadet, and they have the Blacktop Pull on Friday, where you can see Roger. It's one of his local or closest polls he goes to.
Yeah. Roger's got an orange Alice painted purple. So that has to do too. Roger's had some health stuff too, and that has something to do with his health and some of the stuff. So that's awesome. Yeah, and then, like I said, the Prairie du Sac pull, that's where the Badger State kicks off. And then we start rolling right after that. The following weekend will be the benefit pull. Weekend after that will be the Macville Nationals in Seymour. And then we just keep rolling from there. I believe we got pretty close to 30 events for this year. So it's going to be a busy summer. Once it gets going here, it's really going to go fast.
It always does.
Yes. Flies by so fast.
Next thing you know, it's Monroe at the Greene County Fall Nationals.
I know, yeah. Then you're kind of glad the summer's over a little bit, but then you're not so glad because you know that you're not going to see any truck and tractor pulling for a while.
Right?
Well, unless you go way down south.
Yeah, way south, yeah. But then we get to go to the banquet, though.
Yes.
So look forward to that every year. And we found out the other day, the band that's going to be there, you work with one of the band members.
I do. He's our hospital photographer.
Yeah, professional. We had our professional.
He is a professional photographer, yes.
Yeah, so he'll be there. Be looking forward to listening to them and their music. They play a little bit of everything the way it sounds. So
yes. And his lead singer, former patient family. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They've been a part of the radiothon. So.
That's good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Lori, for coming on with us tonight and chatting about the radiothon and about the poll. So we're excited. Pulling season starting, and it's right around the corner. We'll be having a good time in Baraboo.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. And thanks, John, for participating in the radiothon. Appreciated it.
You bet. Mark me down for next year. On Friday, I'll be there again.
All right. Maybe we'll keep you all day.
That's fine. I'll run around all day.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Like,
Thanks for having me.
thank you. We'd like to thank Front Street Toys, Casper Egg, Salama Enterprises, Trip Downing, and Wetton Camp Transport for helping us here at Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Thanks to all you folks that watch every week, and we'll see you next Monday night. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Lori. Everybody have a safe week, and those that are going down to Nashville, safe travels and good luck down there.